Yeah, for progressive, so in scripture, Jesus, I'll give you an example. Jesus in Mark 7, verse 20 to 23, Jesus says, here are the things that make you unclean. The first one, sinning sexually. Then he goes on about greed, idolatry, reckless anger, gossip, adultery. He lists a group of individual sins. That's what you should notice. Each of these is an individual sin. And Jesus says that's the thing that makes you unpresentable to God. So historic Christianity, biblical Christianity, apostolic, Orthodox, whatever you want to call it, it teaches that God holds individuals accountable for their sin, and then he wants to redeem individuals from both the guilt of it and the bondage of it so that they can be set free to do God's good works. In progressivism, individual sin hardly makes the Richter scale. It's not that important. What matters in progressivism is what's considered oppression. So it's class sins. So in progressivism, the more that you can be calculated as belonging to an oppressed group, the more righteous your group is. The more that you can be calculated as belonging to an oppressive group, the more sinful you are. So I'm a white male, almost a baby boomer. I'm right on the edge of baby boomerism. I'm the most sinful person in progressivism because I belong to the most oppressive group in the eyes of progressives. If you're a black lesbian, who, imagine one other thing, I'm trying to think of some other intersection there, you're considered you're a saint because you're in one of the most oppressed groups. And think about how at the end of the day, how much this is standing on its head. So a white, poor, blue collar Pentecostal living in a trailer park is more evil and oppressive in progressivism than a black lesbian law professor at Harvard. That's literally what progressivism says. She's the oppressed one. The guy in the trailer park is the oppressor. That's what progressives believe. And it shows you, they've borrowed greatly from critical theory, which is a form of Marxism. And they are willing to excuse all sorts of personal behaviors because they're focused on class, social policy.
Okay, so this sounds not only like it doesn't make any sense. It sounds out of order, illogical, but it sounds dangerous to me because now you're just you're just putting people in categories, and there's no escaping it, right? I mean, how do I escape being there? Yeah, there's no redemption.
There's no redemption in progressivism. No. So Brett Kavanaugh, when he was nominated and go through his nomination hearings, and some accusation was made from when he was in high school by someone, a really sketchy accusation. In fact, there were other wild accusations made that were later proven to be wrong. The progressives argued he should not be confirmed as a Supreme Court justice because even if it didn't happen, it fits the narrative of things that could have happened, and so therefore he's disqualified. So you see what actually occurs is real injustice is leveled against people. Really bad things happen to people in this worldview because now you're suddenly judged on the basis of your class and not on the basis of what you've done. And just compare this for a moment to what Martin Luther King argued, that he looked forward to a world where people were judged by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. That's not progressivism. Progressivism now judges people by their gender orientation, the color of their skin, their nationality, all sorts of things. And let me say this. So you have to ask the question, why are progressives, why are they so adamant about this? Because they are more adamant about this than the fundamentalist is about alcoholism and dancing. I mean, they're like crazy about this.
Yeah.
And I'll quote none other than Brian McLaren, who's kind of one of the leaders of, used to be at least, of evangelical progressivism. People can live without God, but they can't live without a devil. Progressives need somebody to hate. That's all it is. They need somebody to make them feel righteous. And because their lives are as messed up as are the lives of evangelicals, and in some cases much more messed up, and they're not about to say they're sinners. It's a real cheap thing to say, well, classes of people are sinners. And it just relieves you of any personal responsibility, personal accountability, but you still get to feel good about yourself because you belong to the right class, you belong to the right group. And so it's a cheap, easy way to feel self-righteous.